And that is other kind of my words. I'm always working also this kind of big angels floating, fat angels, that they are trying to understand what humanity is doing down. And like insects in the walls, you see, that is. And in function of the space, I could work in one direction or in another. Like those pieces which has all the same text like I did in the gongs, but in the arms. They are embracing themselves, their souls floating, you see. And the idea of angels, it's quite similar of the idea of that piece that you probably saw it in the conservatory. It's my portrait, it's 7 times me, but completely covered with the names of music composers that I always liked it. I mentioned that the obsession of my father was books, but was also his piano. And I remember when I was a child, I always hide myself inside the piano. It was a vertical piano, and I had the possibility to open a little door. And inside it was this beautiful silence and vibrations and the smell of dust, which I think is fantastic. And I always thought that the interior of one piano, it's a little bit like the interior of our body. It's something bigger which tries to expand our soul. Our soul is always bigger than our body, I guess, and permanently is trying to expand. And our body is so limited that it's blocking the... And that piece is a little bit an homage about that. The tree continues to grow up, and one day my face will disappear in the trunk. The tree will eat me completely. And the tree is the strongest of the nature, is probably the soul. I like very much alchemy, the concept of alchemy. As you probably know, alchemists were upset about this kind of balance in between soul and body, life material and death material. And they developed this idea, which is very old also, but they developed in a very nice direction about the philosophical tree. The idea of a tree which fits its roots in the death material, in the dead body, in the earth, and it's growing up, and it could reach the cosmos with the branches. This idea of a new bridge. I showed you before my light bridges. Now it's a similar bridge, but we have to be patient, and the tree will grow up. It's just the beginning. Okay, and it's always me, and you see, it's my portrait. And I installed it last year, a very beautiful piece with Christian Scheffel, who is here in Baviera, in Ansbach. It's a little town with, in front of the house of Caspar Hauser, which was maybe you know the history, a boy who was found in the middle of the woods. Nobody knew him. And he was a wild boy, you know. It's representing a little bit the idea of Rousseau about the good wild guy. And in 2 years, he learned to teach. He was making beautiful watercolors, and suddenly somebody killed him in the corner of his house. But the myth of that man is always there. And I did that permanent piece in front of his house, which I think is a beautiful myth. Okay, that it's another family of my works. I also representing that pieces because the Meijer Sculpture Park has a beautiful set of tree, which is call it conversation, sitting figures on top of the rocks. The idea of the rock as the origin of everything. And they said that it's the rock, around the rock, they build up the temple, around the temple, the city, around the city, the country, around the country, the continent, the world, the cosmos, the universe. That means that from a very small stone, you have all the cosmos. And that it's always the same idea with my letters. When I'm working with letters, one letter seems nothing, but if you make an association with another, you can do a word. With another word, you can do a text. With another text, maybe you can do a book. And I guess it's a beautiful metaphor about society, about ourselves. And alone we are nothing, but with another sometimes seems complicated, but I guess it's the beauty to be together. And I guess letters, words are a beautiful metaphor about ourselves. And that's the piece that Meijer has right here. And that was one of the pieces in Paris. It's only one, but the polish were three. I liked that picture because I'm using three many times, but in that case was the visitors. It's the opposite. And that is the piece that you have also in front of the building, call it Nomad. That was his first place, which was in Antibes. Last year, the Picasso Museum in Antibes invited me to do an installation of my works, and I decided only to install one piece in front of the museum, and it was that one. And we call it Nomad because the intention of that piece was to travel a little bit around. And well, the site was fantastic, just in front of the Mediterranean Sea. But it continues to travel. That was in Miami, for example. And you see that is in Miami with the palm trees. It's the idea, a very interesting idea, that some of my friends knows that I'm dreaming to do a building one day with the shape of a human being. But I didn't found the sponsor yet. My dream was in that piece to try to show that our body is a very beautiful architecture in itself, and it's a container. It's a container of something more than our liquids, muscles, bones. It's just a skin with all our memories, culture, inscribed like tattoo. And I built up that piece with letters, but completely transparent. And when people walk inside, they have this beautiful feeling that he's protected. They are protected like a big mom, like a big mother with the arms. And that is in Chadwell, and in England. And that you can see through this big cupola, the sky or the landscape. That was in Des Moines, and that's here. And I guess in every place the piece is changing, the piece is new, because it's welcoming new people, but the people can see through the new landscape. And I like it to finish my lecture with that piece, because I guess it represents quite well our world, which is a little bit nomad people. We are always traveling around. We are trying to preserve our ideas, but something even more important, to try to share those ideas. Well, I hope you enjoy. Thank you, Joe, for your